The year was 2019. I was fresh out of an engagement after a 4-year relationship, and I was scared shitless. I didn't really have any idea what was coming next. There I was only months prior thinking I was about to commit to spending the rest of my life with somebody. And then I just wasn't. I'd essentially spent all of my adolescent years dreaming about getting married young and being a young parent. I think a lot of people, like 90s kids, did. I know I couldn't avoid it, right? That's what my folks did. That's what all my friends' folks did. And then all of a sudden, that dream was gone for me, or at least I thought it was, right? Like I had no idea what was coming in the future, but I was pretty sure that I was gonna be alone forever now, or some riff on that age-old story. I didn't even really know why I wanted to get married so young. And, like I said, part of it maybe because my parents did, my friends' parents did. It's what we see on TV, right? We're so inundated with love and romance and all of these things. It was kind of an inevitable conclusion, I guess. But was it what I really wanted? My ex-fiance and I broke up in March of 2018. And I remember going shopping that Valentine's Day. I woke up at like 5 in the morning and I hadn't bought anything yet. So I rush over to the Safeway across the street and I'm like digging through the cards, looking at all these inspirational lifelong commitments to love, trying to pick out some flowers. And every card that I read, I just got this sinking pit in my stomach because I knew I wasn't ready to commit to the rest of my life with this person. And I have a really, 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 really hard time lying. And so even buying that card felt disingenuous. I spent a lot of the next year kind of looking for my thing. And I was sitting in a coffee shop with one of my best friends. She's conversationally fluent in Japanese. She's been to Japan more times than you can count on one hand, but not quite two. And she had planned a trip for that year. And so we set the dates. Ironically enough, we set the dates for 3 days after I was supposed to get married. On the day I was supposed to get married, it turns out it was my turn to officiate a wedding for somebody else. The universe has a really funny way of playing cards for you. Needless to say, I fell head over heels in love with the food, the language, the people, the culture, the lights, just the unending, ceaseless, toilless energy that is Tokyo. And I got back from that trip and I pulled the weeb card. Like all I would do is watch anime, J-dramas, play Japanese video games, read manga. If it wasn't in Japanese, basically, I didn't listen to it. And I loved it. I still love it. It's one of my favorite things to do. So much so, in fact, that I actually applied to study at a foreign language school in Tokyo for a year. I had also scheduled a month-long vacation for 2020, also in Tokyo. The rest of Japan as well. I was going to bounce around a little bit, but. And then COVID happened. Like probably most of you watching, my experience of the last year and a half was absolutely bonkers. I got furloughed for a little bit. That turned into a couple months of fun employment. My trip to Japan got canceled. My study abroad experience got indefinitely delayed. And people everywhere were being asked to put their lives on hold. As soon as we were provided with the opportunity to travel outside the United States again, I immediately booked a trip. 12 days solo in Greece. And I realized something on that trip. Now, don't get me wrong, I still love Japan. I love Japanese. I love studying. I love everything about it. But I realized something else. I realized in my narrow experience of the world up until that point, what I felt like I was missing wasn't something that I could only find in Japan. What I realized I was wanting is that experience of being in the unfamiliar, being in the unknown, not being beholden to the routines and the set points of my day-to-day life. The last year showed me anything. It's that you really don't know if any of these plans that you're setting into motion are actually going to be allowed to come to fruition for circumstances entirely outside of your own control. And so I decided I'm going to take some action right now. I'm going to make the next right step in the direction that I want to go. That same friend that took me to Japan with her happened to recommend a book to me called Vagabonding. And I devoured it in like a day. And every single page, literally every page. It's like when you're on an airplane, right? And they have the illuminated lights, whatever. The walkway will be illuminated to guide you to the exit, right? And that book was just guiding me to my exit. As soon as I finished that book, I decided I'm gonna go see the world. So I took that money I had set aside and saved for the last year to go study in Tokyo, and I committed to spending it on traveling as much as I could, as far as I could, as often as I could. I talked to my boss and I said, hey, I'm either gonna be allowed to work from everywhere or I'm not gonna work. I immediately emailed my apartment and I broke my lease. I burned all of the boats. So as of September 20th, whether I have a job or don't have a job, where I'm allowed to travel, wherever I'm not allowed to travel, it really doesn't matter. I've made the commitment to myself to go. Because there's just too much world to see. More importantly, I heard that voice in my head that was telling me, this is the next right thought or action for you, for me. Maybe not for somebody else, but it is the next right one for me. And I heard that voice over and over and over again, and I decided to listen to it. So really, that's what this channel is gonna be for. It's gonna be a chance for me to share with you all of the experiences that I have traveling. I wanna share the food and the culture, the architecture, the experiences, and that willingness to go outside of your comfort zone and get into the nitty-gritty of a new place. What I'm hoping to get out of this, beyond documenting it for myself, is that opportunity for somebody else to message me and say, hey, I watched one of your videos and I'm gonna go after this thing that I'm really passionate about now because you did. And I'm in no way, shape, or form special. I don't aspire to be special. I'm just someone who really, really, really wants to enjoy his life. And I hope you do too. And I hope you decide to enjoy it here with me. So leave me a like, leave me a comment, hit that subscribe button. And I'd love to hear your feedback. Where do you want to see me go? What do you want to experience through my lens? And what do you want to learn about? Because really, that's what we're here to do. So thank you, my friends. Godspeed. Until next time.